We did communion a couple weeks ago at Living Church.
Yes.
Did you taste the communion?
Yeah.
It was rancid.
No, I tasted the communion on stage in the moment I was leading communion.
Guys.
And I don't normally take communion. No, listen, I'm saying.
Pastor fail.
So typically, if I'm doing, if
you're like hosting,
if you're preaching and you're doing communion, then you can, because you will wear the headset. But if I'm not preaching and I'm leading communion, I typically won't wear the headset. We do have to, but normally I don't. And I was like, this time I'm going to have the handheld.
Yeah,
I'm going to have my Bible, but then I'm going to have the intern buddy bring me the elements so I could do it. That wafer, I almost gagged on stage.
Listen, it was rancid.
Rancid.
The grape juice had been in there so long it turned to wine, and then it turned into poison. Did you or did you not ever sneak into the back of the offices of the church after and eat the leftover communion?
Absolutely.
Me too. But guess what? None of our kids at Living Church are going to do that because our communion tastes like
so
butt.
Terrible. Maybe that's why.
We used to, growing up, we had like not Ritz crackers, but like those little oyster.
Oyster, that's what they're called. That's
oyster
what we had.
Crackers and like legit like Welch's grape,
right.
Straight up.
Christmas Eve service every year. This is highly unsanitary.
So I apologize if you come to Living Church that we just poisoned you on Sunday. I apologize. We poisoned you.
Maybe they should bring their own.
Yeah, BYOC.
Bring your own communion. No, Christmas
We're gonna have to
Eve.
do a social media post that says new and improved communion, or people just won't come back.
they just hide it. Like you put it in your napkin.
We're gonna have
and
to
feed
talk
it to the
about
dog.
it. We're gonna have to talk about it.
When I was a kid, Christmas Eve they would do actual bread, which I know is supposed to be unleavened bread, or what is it?
No,
but
dude, I like it. Give me some sourdough.
That's what they would do. These loaves, and you would like pinch off. They would pass it down the row.
Oh.
And our Christmas Eve service was at 11 p.m. till midnight. It was like a welcoming Christmas thing. It was a tradition, and I can remember at like Christmas morning, 12:30 a.m. in the morning, in there with my cousins, we were eating the bread.
I had a buddy who got fired. He was a youth pastor at church, and he got fired because he did communion with the youth with Coke and pizza.
And he got fired?
Yeah, he's kind of an idiot. He probably got fired for like 10 other reasons.
I was going to say, that was their
I want to
excuse.
say his name so bad, but I'm not.
Don't say it.
Because he's still kind of an idiot.
No, stop.
But if you're watching, you know it's you. You're still an idiot.
Don't say that.
He's one of my best friends.
But hey, there was probably another reason. And that
he was trying to just do it different.
Yes,
he was just trying to like shake it up.
I'm kind of not all the way mad at that. I'm like, it's an idea, but it's a little off. Yeah.
Okay, so welcome to the Tug of War. What's up, everybody?
That's
Super
right.
glad that you're hanging out with us today.
Yes.
Just a conversation.
Two friends.
Who, not married to each other.
Not married to each other.
Yeah,
married
this belongs to somebody else. Back off me.
We work together in ministry and in life.
Yeah.
But we feel the tug and tension of like where we are and where we want to be. There's more. And so we're always fighting for it. And that's what we talk about here is how do we get there?
Right. And so one of the things to get into the more that God has for you is to try unconventional things, to walk a different path. Yeah. And so my buddy who wanted to do a creative communion with pizza and Coca-Cola, I think he missed the mark.
That is a sorry reason to get fired though.
Well, he did another thing. He did another thing at I think the same night where he played a game and it was who can throw up the fastest. Oh. And he just had all these gross foods.
It was definitely the straw that broke the camel's back.
And so I think his I need to get another job on the application while he got fired, Coke and pizza.
The real reason was he was making children throw up.
Yeah. Got fired. He's an idiot.
So we have to try new things. And then as we tug into more, oftentimes we find ourselves in just places we've never been.
Yeah.
And sometimes no one else ever has before.
Sometimes we have to be willing to walk down paths that have not yet been taken.
Yeah.
We have to do unconventional things.
Right.
To try to get to where we're trying to go.
Right.
Because sometimes you're going to find yourself in a moment that there's not a book about.
No. We literally constantly find ourselves in that moment.
Like there's not a book, and maybe there is a book. but you don't know the title of the book. And so like
you Googled it and you can't.
Right.
Yeah.
So you just have to do something that feels out of place, out of sorts, makes you insecure. Take the jump. Yeah.
Pave a new path. Like go somewhere, uncharted territory. Have you watched this, I don't know if we're allowed to talk about it, but whatever, we are. Yellowstone.
Sin.
Sin. Yeah,
I'm just kidding. Yes, I've seen it.
No, Yellowstone is a great show if you want to watch it. 1883 is the like prequel, and it's the story of how the Dutton family got to where they are. They're a family that owns all this land in Montana. Somewhere up north.
Cows and hills.
I don't know. And they're like trekking across America. They start in Fort Worth, Texas, which is why it's like cool because they filmed here and all the things.
You know what the show is built after, right?
What?
That game we played. Maybe you didn't play. You went to private school.
Oregon Trail.
Oregon Trail.
Oregon Trail.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was about all.
Except Whitney played Oregon Trail in 1997. It's when Oklahoma finally got the technology, the floppy disks to put in the computer.
Yeah, probably. That's actually.
She played Oregon Trail in junior high.
You're actually probably right. Oh, that's embarrassing. But true. And so like they're trekking they literally leave Fort Worth. They cross what is that river?
Mississippi?
The Red River?
I don't know. I'm from Michigan.
I don't know. The one
I'm from the murder mitten.
Yeah, the one from Oklahoma and Texas. They cross it, and then from there they literally say, after this, there's no civilization.
Yeah.
And they like literally are just walking a trail that no one has ever been, no one has ever lived.
Trailblazers.
And it sounds sexy, but when you watch the show, it's horrible.
Everyone's
dying. Everything is falling apart. They get shot. There's no doctor. Like all kind of things.
Yeah.
And like I think in life, if you're tugging into more, you have to be willing to go to uncharted places no one's ever been, and you might die.
You might die. You have to be willing to do things in an unconventional way.
Right.
Like the safe way is probably like outlined in a book somewhere.
Absolutely.
The like systematic,
8 steps
strategized,
to a healthy organization. Right.
There's that, but there's also the like, holy crap.
Right.
What do we do? Let's try this.
Yeah.
And and I think that to really be a trendsetter, a trailblazer. Right. Trailblazer is a mediocre vehicle that was made by GMC.
Yes.
The Trailblazer.
Trailblazer, I remember.
Yeah.
I had a friend that had one.
It's hard.
Yeah.
And it's scary.
Yeah. No, it's terrifying. But it's that old phrase of like, I say it all the time. If you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. And like when you're tugging into more, you don't want to get what you've always got. You want to get something more. You want to get something different. You want to get something unique. And I think that's the other piece for us is like, we're not trying to do what everybody else has done. And because of that, we have to be willing.
But eventually, when you blaze the trail, it turns into a path for somebody else.
100%. No, it's the whole reason why in my life it's great. It's true because you hear the like bust the ceilings, what is it, breaking glass ceilings or whatever, but I'm like, a ceiling is like, that's really hard to climb up. No, we got to pave a path. We got to like be willing to build something that other people can follow. That's the whole point of it.
Yeah.
And you and I think have faced a lot of moments where we're like, I don't know anyone who's done it this way. What are we going to do?
Let's hit them with some stories.
Okay, go.
No, you go.
Oh, I'll go. No, I mean, we talk about it here all the time. You're a dude, I'm a lady. Like, that's the first one. Yeah, weird. But, like, we've had to blaze that trail in a very unique way of learning what it looks like for men and women to really work together in the church context. Aaron and Rachel were on the podcast a long time ago, and, like, they both work in corporate world, and that's not, like... That's not weird there.
It's normal for men and women to work closely together.
Right. But in the context of ministry that we work in, that's super unique. And we've had people say...
not only unique, it's taboo.
Yeah, it's true. We've had people tell us it's not good, be careful, all the words. It doesn't mean we don't have wisdom and boundaries, but we've had to blaze a new trail of what that looks like because there wasn't really a good model to follow.
Right. And so you have to figure it out on your own.
And kind of on the fly.
Yeah. And so, like, if you're figuring out what you feel God's calling you to do or what your next step of more is, sometimes a cautious step is an important plan.
Right.
So, like, it's like have courage, but have caution. It's a balance.
Yeah, no.
Because like if we take you and I's dynamic, we've had courage and caution all at the same time. In having a bunch of conversations with Aaron and Rachel and with our staff teams and with each other. But then we've also been like, what's the guy who owns Virgin Airlines?
Yep. Oh man, I could tell you if you weren't asking.
He has blonde hair.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'll get it in a minute when I don't need it anymore. His slogan is "Screw it, let's do it."
Yeah.
And like he has this like wild Richard Branson.
There it is.
He has this like, screw it, let's do it, man. Let's just try to do this thing. And so you have to have some of that.
Yeah.
But then there's also the like, but let's think about it for like 8.5 seconds.
I was going to say, let's look at all the angles and scenarios, something we've talked about a lot as leaders. Like, we are balancing all kinds of different bits of information that people don't always know and see, but we have to. Like, the responsibility of being leaders, being people stepping into more, is to look at all the angles and look at all the possible scenarios. You're great at seeing the like worst case scenario of things, like not in a negative way, and not in a negative way, but like
womp, womp.
No, I don't mean it that way. Like you're great at going, okay, here's what we can do, here's how it could fail, but here's how it could succeed. Like,
weigh the options.
And I think we have to do that before we step into it. In the same way, in our hiring, like in the beginning, we did what we've always seen done. We hired similar people from similar type churches that we've seen in the similar denomination that we were in, and we realized that for us it didn't work because of the context of what we're doing, that we've had to instead, we've hired people that don't have ministry backgrounds, because they actually work better in what we're doing. They still love Jesus, they still have like biblical understanding and knowledge, and they have a great moral compass in their life, all those things. But they didn't come from the same cookie cutter of what maybe in the past Bible college, blah, 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 that we would have looked for. And it's worked better for us. Now, that did also come with parameters and training and different helpful pieces, but we got to do something different.
No, I'm just hearing a sound effect that's happening in the room. And it's, I'm like, there's a noise. We're in this new studio, and there's like a draft or something over here that I just hear this loud noise. Like, what is that noise in the background? Dude, we've got to just blaze the trail and be willing to take a step into something new. So, you talked about like our hiring process. And it's unique.
Super different.
We've got, like, I think about Enrique, who's running, like, a big portion of our adult ministry stuff. Retired military dude.
He was a recruiter for the military, retired.
And Enrique, I mean, he would be okay with us saying this, wasn't even following Jesus 4 or 5 years ago?
Well, now it's been
now
6.
I guess. COVID years.
But when he came to work for us, it had only been probably 3 years that he'd been following Jesus, because God had radically changed his life, and he was like, hey, I want to use the skills that God's given me, which is what we believe the Bible tells us to do, to serve God's house. And on paper, there was another candidate that probably could have been a better
I forgot about this.
You know?
We interviewed that dude. We interviewed this dude, took him to lunch, took his family out to dinner.
Remember?
Did the whole interview process, and we were like, on paper, he's the guy. But he's not the guy. But he wasn't a grinder. He wouldn't tug into more. He was just like, meh.
And so, like, when you're blazing a new trail, you have to look at, like, what's important to you, what matters to you, and how do you do that? Go. You're now distracted by all the sounds, and I'm like,
I'm not.
Your face was.
Well, it was, but now you're distracted that I'm distracted.
That's what happens.
Whitney's
I'm like,
now,
I'm pulling us back into it. Let's go.
Whitney's now thrown off in the thing.
It's good.
So there's the hiring process.
No, what else? There's a bunch of things.
I remember when we, when in the first 5 years when we were doing setup and tear down at a rental facility, and we needed to find a permanent home. And so there wasn't any buildings for sale. There wasn't anything of size that we thought would work. And so Rachel and I took 2 Sundays and we scheduled it out, and we went to, I think, 6 churches. Like, we'd find out one started at 8 and one started at 10. You know, we just figured it out to go. And it was very non-traditional. That I went and talked to these pastors and essentially tried to buy their building or see what would happen. And our first location, our Matlock location, we got through doing something crazy. Like, we went in, met a guy who was at the church there. He'd been there for 7 or 8 years. He was done. He was worn out. The church was not advancing. And we were able to come in and take over their payment, and it turned into a giant blessing. But it's because we did something a little bananas.
Absolutely. No, the room we're sitting in right now is a similar story of that. At Living Church, we've been growing and changing. God's blessed us with land and property to build, but we had to sell the building, that building you're talking about, in order to be able to build. And so we did, and then we were going to be homeless, and like we had talked and prayed, and like, God, there's got to be some different answers, and you felt like God said, hey, come here and talk to these people here. And in a series of 5 weeks, a very short amount of time, recognized, yes, this is the right next step. The church voted to give us the property.
The other church.
And we have absorbed their organization, but then also been able to accept and welcome some really great new people into our organization. And so into our church. And
right now, we're filming this podcast in a building that I sat in for the first time 4 months ago. And we now own it for free. No rent, no mortgage. It's paid off.
We sat and
but only because we did something that's unconventional. There was it's what I said at the beginning. There was no trail except the one that we walked on last time.
No, it's true. And then even in it, that's what I was going to say. We sat in this room and had conversations that were similar to the ones you had the first time, but then some of them differed and changed because we learned from it. When you lay your own path, when you lay your own trail, like when you're blazing it new, you're going to make mistakes. You're just going to. There's not a book for someone else. Like you ever build a house, they say like go call 3 people who also have built a house, because they'll tell you the pitfalls. There's not a book to tell us the pitfalls, and so we can do our best to scan and like see it all, the negatives and the positives, but we're going to make some mistakes. And the good part about that is because we're the ones who laid the stones, we can pick them back up and relay them in another direction.
So try a different thing. Try it a different way. What do they say? Get out of the box. Color outside the lines.
Absolutely.
And maybe you're not good at that. Like maybe you would say, you know what, I'm not a creative thinker, I'm not gutsy like that. Well, here's some encouragement. Talk to somebody who is. Even if they're in a different field. Like,
absolutely.
I know like 900 realtors. If you're a realtor and you're like, man, I don't know what else creative to do, don't ask another realtor. Go and ask a dentist. Like go and ask somebody who's doing something drastically different from you.
Someone else who's done something unique and different in their context. And maybe that idea will spurn some ideas. And then hang around people who do things different. You and I are a lot the same and a lot different. And like in our relationship dynamic, you have always been the gutsy one, and I in many seasons have always been the rule following one.
Oh man. Winnie just pulled me back on something hard the other day.
And so
but it was wisdom. She was right. It was wisdom.
What I think is good.
We'll find out in heaven.
Oh God. In heaven.
Well, I'm in heaven. I'm going to ask God.
It's only an eternal decision that
I'm going to be like, hey, God, you remember? Who was right? Who was right?
And so in the same that I'll bring some order or like rule following to you, but you've brought some like, think outside the boxness to me, that if you want to tug into more, put yourself around somebody totally different than you. That will help you just think different and even come up with a different way to do it.
It's kind of true. But you challenged me in a lot of things too. You came in as a pastor at Living Church from a kind of outside ministry perspective. As running an office, being in big sales, doing all these things. And so you've challenged.
That's true.
A lot of pieces.
And so just putting yourself with people that are similar and different allows you, I think, because our brainstorms, they don't have, it's not just exactly the same context. It's similar foundation, but with totally different context that allows something great to be created. It's something different. And so
try something new. So like we were outgrowing our last building, our Matlock building, doing 4 services. And the traditional strategy is to just wait until you can build a bigger building. But then we did something super unconventional against even advice from others. And we went back to set up and tear down at a much bigger facility. Is it hard? Yes, it's stupid hard. Stupid hard, but we're growing.
Yeah, it's impossible.
Everybody who's on salary is still getting paid.
Right.
Like the organization advanced through COVID.
Right.
Because I believe we blazed some trails.
Absolutely, because we've pushed the envelope. And the thing is, people are attracted to people who will try something different.
Yeah.
I think we all get stuck in the rut of doing it, the sameness. And so what we found is people are like, hey, they're talking about you in a good way. Like, you're doing something super unique, and I've heard about you and what you're doing. And I think our fear is that people will say that in the negative way. But what's true is it's gutsy. It takes some risk, and try it.
Something I ask myself whenever we're about to do something that's oddball,
yes,
unique. Whenever we're going to print a Mr. T banner that's 30 feet tall and hang it,
right.
We could have a list. We bought a trailer. And we had it welded up, a giant billboard on it, and now we drive it around town with advertisements.
Literally,
it's absurd.
Person will just drive it all day long around town.
Yeah. So we do these things that are unconventional.
Right.
And there's a long list of them. I ask myself, what's the worst that will happen?
Yeah. No, right.
If this goes horribly wrong, what's the worst that will happen? You know what it comes down to? My wife's still going to love me.
Right.
My children are still going to be alive.
Yeah.
God's still in heaven, and my friends still have my back.
Right.
And so maybe we build a trailer and, put some banners on it, and it doesn't work.
Right.
Okay, cool. We sell the trailer, we cut the thing off and use it as a utility trailer. But it has worked.
No, right.
What we launched podcasts.
Yeah. Right. Literally, it was an idea, and then all of a sudden it was a reality.
Yeah. Is it working? I don't know. But guess what? This Sunday.
Yeah. I was just saying, it's working slowly but surely.
This Sunday, we had someone visit Living Church and come to our Party with the Pastor, which is our
first time guest
kind of event.
Yeah.
They came to Living Church because they found Tug of War and they've been watching Tug of War.
Yeah.
So just throw it out there, man.
Right.
And go for it. Yeah. If you have an idea that you've been chewing on and marinating, but you're just scared to take the step, let her rip, Tater Chip.
Yeah, well, that's important. So let's address, why would you not? So one reason is what you just said. What's the worst that could happen? Mm-hmm. I think you got to look at those. For some people, it's my parents will think I'm an idiot, or the people that I love and respect will think I'm doing it wrong. For other people, it's the risk of what if it fails? What if I invest in this? What if I try this and I screw it up? And I think what we have weighed so many times is, right, but what if we don't? What if we win?
Yeah.
What if we keep going? And I think that has been for us the driving force of once we tried something unique once and saw that it worked, then it was next time we try something unique, and it built our confidence to know we can try it different and it can still work.
Yeah.
And so just try something small and say, hey, yeah, it might fail, but what if it doesn't? What if it actually works and it's better than the old way?
No, it's really good.
Yeah.
Don't just sit on an idea because you're afraid of what somebody else is going to say. I think we did an episode.
Who gives a crap?
Who gives a crap? Link it.
Yeah.
Click it. Listen to that one.
I think they had to change the name of it on Apple because it got flagged or something because they didn't like the word crap, but whatever. Who gives a care?
On Apple?
Isn't that right? Yeah.
Is Nicki Minaj still on Apple?
Correct. It made no sense.
Y'all need to shut up about that. But anyways, we get to a point where we have to be able to plug our ears to the other opinions because many times we don't do these aggressive, gutsy steps because we're just afraid of what somebody else is going to say.
Absolutely.
Who cares what they're going to say, man?
Right.
There's always naysayers.
Right. Well, and at the end of the day, whose opinion do I really care about?
Yeah. And what's my goal?
Right. And what are those people who have those opinions actually doing with their life? I think that now you and I have faced people who are doing great things who have said, I wouldn't do it that way. Or, hey, even when we launched Tug of War, we pitched it to some friends and their thought was not what our thought was.
No.
And they're like, you should change the name and you should do this. And we love them and respect them and they do amazing things. But we were like, no, I think we're supposed to do this.
Yeah.
And so be willing to follow your own voice, inner voice, the Holy Spirit. And if Jesus is your context, let him follow and guide you. But trust your own instinct to say, hey, this might be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take the step, be bold, don't be afraid, take the risk, take the leap.
Can you think of anything where we have taken the risk and then it has royally failed or been silly? and terrible?
Yeah. We've hired lots of people that we took risks on. Like that's the struggle is like sometimes your risks are great and sometimes you take a risk and it's like not right. And so like we hired a guy who was too young and didn't have the experience. And like, we knew that there were some like issues kind of going on.
Yeah.
And within just 4 months, we got bit.
Yeah.
We got bit. I don't want to go into all the things, but like we shouldn't have done that. And so it cost us emotional energy. It cost our church money.
Yeah.
It cost our team some aches and pains.
Yeah.
But if it would have worked, home run.
Yeah. And now I think we are more aware of what to look for, how to navigate it. Like, though it caused us some heartache, we also learned some valuable lessons in it that could have caused us more damage if we didn't like later down the road.
And we say, again, ministry is our leadership context. Right. We say that ministry is an experiment. Like all we're doing is experimenting of like what's working. And so we just made the decision to not go live on Facebook Live on Sundays.
Is the whole thing. Yeah.
We didn't do it. We just pulled the trigger, quit going live on Sundays. A bunch of people have been out of shape about it.
Real mad.
But guess what? We got 100 new people coming on Sundays because they quit going to pajama church.
Right.
And so like,
no, that's good.
It's only for a time.
Right.
So like we just rattled the system.
We just did it first.
And so we're going to go back to having online.
We know that the internet is the future.
Yeah. Soon we're going to be metaverse church and y'all going to be watching me on VR goggles and I'm going to be a little
Lego man.
Little Lego man in your living room. Right.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Zuckerberg, I don't know how it works. Call me. I need some money.
Elon, you need to watch some more Elon things.
No. Yeah. Elon. I think Elon may have accepted Jesus.
You do think?
Yeah, you saw that on Babylon B? Good job, Babylon. Tag Babylon B.
Babylon B is a joke, though.
Yeah, but they had Elon on. They interviewed him.
Oh.
They had him on and interviewed him.
Oh, okay.
They talked to him about Jesus.
Oh, that's
Let's go, Babylon.
Okay, I love it.
So, what was I talking about?
He's going to build us a spaceship to heaven.
I want to be the first pastor on Mars. I want to have a campus on Mars, Mars campus.
Yes.
I'm dead serious. I want to cut this clip. I want to tag Elon Musk. I'm dead serious.
Everyone in the room is now regretting
Elon, I'm your guy. We will send a pastor to Mars to colonize Mars and have an opportunity for people there to get to know Jesus. I'm dead serious. Cut the clip, tag Elon, put it on the internet.
Love it.
Let's go.
Let's go. Okay, go back to what we were saying before we became aliens in Mars or whatever.
I don't remember what I was talking about.
No, you were saying that you have to take risks. I don't either now, but we have to take risks.
So sometimes you have to shake the system.
Yeah.
And so we said that we're not going to do online.
Yeah.
What's it called?
No.
Live stream. We're not going to live stream the service. And
everyone's
later. Like, no. And I'm like, guys, we're going to do this for like 8 weeks.
Right.
We're going to just do this for a little while. And so we've only got 3 more weeks where we're not doing live stream. Then live stream will come back. And so we can't be afraid to shake the system.
Right. We're just trying.
We're doing 4 services. We moved back and we started doing 2. Now we're in this giant auditorium. And with the COVID piece, we're doing 1 service.
Right.
Could we keep doing 2? Yes. But what we're trying to do is bring all the coals back together, create some energy, get some momentum. Then we'll go back to 2 services.
Yeah.
And like, let's be fluid.
Right.
Let's not be so rigid in everything. But you know the reason I didn't want to go back to 1?
Pride. Oh.
Yep. No, I mean, I've said it before, is because if we go back to 1, then everyone's going to think, my peers, these other pastors are going to think, man, Living Church is shrinking. Pastor Truston, he's not a good leader. He can only lead through 1 service, right? And so all of these thoughts that don't matter. I don't give a crap what do these other pastors think. Who cares?
They don't live our life.
I have to do what's best for my organization. Right. And so we shook the system. We're back in 1 service. We'll do it through the summer. We'll add back 2. Right. Let's go.
No, I think that's a great, like, literally, we can look everywhere we look in our organization. the places that are thriving is because we shook it up. We did something different. We blazed a trail that's different. And I'm not going to lie, like being a woman in this ministry context, like it's been painful to blaze some of those trails. It doesn't always mean it's like rainbows and butterflies because you're blazing your own trail. So I get to do it my way and it's fun and great. No, there's going to be adversity you're going to face, but the reward of that is so much greater. And like you said, trusting what's different shakes it up and makes it new and better. And who gives a crap?
You know, you're taking bullets for girls for generations after you.
No, right. But it's to pave the path. That's the whole point. I'm like, then they don't have to walk on the rocks and trip on the things. They can just walk on the path. It'll be easy.
Yeah. I always think the other side of whatever we're talking.
Yeah, and so like I complimented you that earlier. Yeah. You thought I was making fun of you.
No, the other side is I think that one of the reasons that I'm willing to blaze the trail and have the dexterity to now is because I submitted myself under somebody else's leadership for 15 years.
Oh, for sure. Right.
And so like if you're 20, like maybe it's not, maybe you're not ready. I'm 40. I just turned 40. And so like I'm kind of at a maturity level now where I can do some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
But like when you're 20, maybe it's not time to be like, you know what? I'm going to leave and I'm going to go be my own thing. Plant my own church.
Yeah.
If that's what God's called you to do.
Right.
But you have to like really seek
the maturity to see all the sides of it is because of the experience that we've had.
Yeah.
Like you said, you've had the ministry experience. I've had a lot of office type business experience where we can see the downside could be only because of the experience we've faced in the past.
Yeah.
You're right. That we have to be willing to go, am I shaking this up because I just don't want to submit? I don't want to actually be faithful. I don't actually want to learn. I just want to be prideful. Or am I shaking it up because my experience tells me this is not working anymore?
50% of the church planters that I've met, 50%, the reason that they're planting a church is because they got mad at the pastor they were following previously. And they had this attitude of, I can go do it better.
Right.
Careful.
Yeah.
Like that's a dangerous, that's a slippery slope.
No, it's good.
And so that's the other side of the coin. But let's have guts. Let's pull ourselves into more. Let's do things that we're afraid of. I have a meeting that I have to be to in 3 minutes. So love you guys. If you have any questions, comments, ideas, we'd love to engage with you.
Like this, share this, comment things, post it out, and let us hear from you.
Boom. Mic drop.